dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Good to be with you on this Sunday evening. One person is dead and another is facing a murder charge after a crash involving a car and a motorcycle in Pulaski County. Kentucky State Police responded to the incident on US 27 near Floyd Switch Estisburg Road at approximately 8 p.m. Saturday. Police say 63-year-old Larry Stull of Eubank hit a motorcycle driven by 63-year-old Chester Dick of Somerset. Dick was pronounced dead at the scene, and his passenger, Lori Lyle, was seriously hurt and taken to Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital. Stull was arrested and charged with murder and driving on a DUI suspended license. Police say they believe alcohol was a factor. Deputies with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office are investigating break-ins of multiple vehicles in the county. Victims have reported that guns, electronics, and money were stolen. Deputies say the thieves are targeting unlocked cars. They say all parked vehicles should be locked with no valuables left inside. If you have any information about the thefts, you should call the Laurel County Sheriff's Office at 606-864-6600. It's been almost 4 days since Hurricane Milton made landfall in Florida after making history as it developed in parts of the Gulf. Last Tuesday, our sister station WKYT spoke with a family from Kentucky that had decided to wait out the storm while on vacation. Alexa Minton checks back in to see how they're doing after the storm.
How would you describe your first hurricane experience?
It was unique.
Emily Bays and her family were on their family fall break this past week and drove down from Knox County to Walt Disney World just in time to get stuck when Hurricane Milton swept through the state of Florida.
There was like a mandatory lock in, no one out at 8 o'clock. I was getting a little worried because I was like, gosh, they really mean business. You cannot go anywhere.
The hurricane made landfall as a Category 3 Wednesday evening, with winds gusting strong and more than 30 tornadoes reported in South Florida. More than 3.2 million customers were without power in the state early Thursday.
And my husband woke me up. He's like, listen to this. And he had the door cracked up by the balcony. And it seriously sounded like waves crashing. It was just so loud. The wind was crazy. And we had a bunch of bamboo, the big bamboo sticks by our room. And they almost was touching our window.
However, Emily and her family were staying on property at a Disney resort, which is reported to have a low risk of suffering hurricane damage. In 2019, the Orlando Weekly said that the theme park's buildings are subject to special building codes that are more stringent than for traditional structures.
The generators, I have never seen something as big as they have there. I mean, there was rows and rows of them. And you would have, we never lost internet, never lost cell service, never lost power, water, nothing.
Emily shared that the cast members and characters remained in high spirits for the guests throughout the storm. And while her family's vacation had taken an unexpected turn, being at a Disney property had them feeling safe.
I said, if I was ever stuck in a hurricane, I would want it to be at Disney because you did not even know it was happening.
For WKYT, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Alexa Minton.
Emily and her family have made it back safe to Kentucky and say their experience dealing with Kentucky's severe storms helped them weather the hurricane. Many communities across the Commonwealth are working to help those affected by the recent hurricanes. Jubilee Christian Assembly of Good teamed up with Kemper Fire Department in Pike County to bring donations to those affected. The first delivery went to Canton, North Carolina yesterday, and now they are collecting more donations to send to Greenville, Tennessee. Pastor Matthew May says the idea to get involved in helping those in need is part of his calling.
Being in the ministry and being a part of the body of Christ, when disaster hits, we should respond. And I think that is just what we should do naturally. Come together no matter where we're at and try to help those that are in need.
May says the support provided to neighboring states has to be an ongoing effort by everyone. We'll have more on their hurricane relief efforts tonight at 11.
Well, the past 2 weeks of weather does feel kind of like Groundhog Day. Just last Sunday, I was talking about a cold front passing through, going to drop our temperatures and make it a little bit cooler. Well, it's going to happen again tonight. But right now, the sun's starting to set down in Hazard. We're going to look at our cam where that WYMT First Alert weather app, if you ever have a chance, scan that QR code, help you get some forecasts that you can't find anywhere else. Currently sitting at 79 degrees here, above average, and it's above average everywhere right now in eastern Kentucky. We're seeing even some low 80s as we head into the rest of the night. And then looking at our overnight lows, we're going to get into the low 40s, possibly even mid 40s across parts of eastern Kentucky. So make sure you keep an eye out because these next couple days are going to get pretty cold. Steve?
All right, pull those sweaters out. Thank you very much, Drake. Well, as we see all the hurricane damage in several states, you may want to continue to help with disaster relief. But there are concerns about phony charities using deep fakes to trick people out of their money. Susan Campbell shows us how to donate safely.
Scroll through social media, you'll see images that pull at your heartstrings. You click on them and maybe even decide to send a donation to help with relief efforts. Well, now scammers could have your money and your personal information. Here's a family looking at storm destruction. It's distressing, and it's not real. It took me about 3 minutes to create this free AI image. One prompt gave me a few options to work with. And if I can do this, imagine what a scammer could create to prey on your sympathy for storm victims.
It's become very problematic and taken away from sort of the reality of what's going on.
Ross Majeski is a computer scientist and the director of the School of Computing and Augmented Intelligence at ASU. He says spotting a fake is getting tougher to do.
What we want to look for is, are these images coming from a trusted source like the Associated Press or other places? And if it's just shared on social media from a random user, you probably want to see if you can backtrack through some other channels, because it's become so hard now to tell the difference between real and fake.
When you see real victims who you want to help, make sure you do it safely. It's okay to be skeptical of anyone soliciting donations on social media, over the phone, or even door to door. The Department of Justice says you should never click on links in unsolicited emails or text messages. Beware of organizations with copycat names that are similar to legitimate charities, and avoid making donations in cash or via a money transfer service. Sites like charitynavigator.org can help too.
Right now we have two what we call where to give now lists for both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. And on those lists are organizations that are confirmed, highly rated organizations that you can feel confident giving to, that our analyst team have worked with to confirm that they're on the ground, they're helping out, and they're making an impact.
Charity Navigator says a couple other big red flags of a fraudulent charity. The person asking for money can't explain the charity's mission or how that money will be used, and they can't give you their EIN tax ID number. I'm Susan Campbell.
Governor Andy Beshear announced new funding to support veterans in his recent Team Kentucky update. The Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs Board approved $145,000 to 4 organizations to support veteran programs and initiatives. Kentucky's Habitat for Humanity received $90,000 of that funding. The money will be used to repair the homes of low-income veterans across the Commonwealth. The election is less than 1 month away, and on the ballot you'll see Kentucky Constitutional Amendment 2. It asks voters if they are in favor of giving the General Assembly the option to provide financial support to students outside of the public education system.
This is an issue of public funds are for public schools, and our system should not be further damaged by defunding public schools.
Now, folks on the other side say this is a misconception and public funds are for the public good. If the majority of Kentuckians vote yes, things would not automatically change for the public school sector, but it could open the door for legislators in support of it to propose what other systems those funds should be allocated for. Coming up, control of the House in 2025 in Washington is a toss-up. Keys for each party to win on Election Day.
And a cold front will pass through eastern Kentucky, bringing a chance of showers and cooler temperatures. I have the details in your first alert forecast.